When you're at a wine store looking at the row upon row of wines, it's often the wine label that catches your attention. But when the wine label's in a foreign language, it can be a little confusing. Luckily, Spanish wines are easier to understand than others. And with a few tips and knowledge of the key terms, you'll be ready to shop for your next bottle of Spanish wine. In this episode, we'll take a look at how to read a Spanish wine label to help you start to understand Spanish wine. Give our video a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more. Wine labels are a primary factor for consumers when deciding which wine to buy in stores. And according to WineVine Analytics, 36% of consumers say they are confused by wine labels, and 81% want the labels to be clear and easy to understand. So we're here to make Spanish wine labels easy to understand.
Here are the basics. The label includes the winery name, the appellation title, the appellation status, vintage, aging statement, produced and bottled by, producer's name and locations, and alcohol content. It's pretty straightforward, right? But let's clarify a little bit more.
Well, winery name is straightforward. It may include the word bodega or adega, which means winery. The appellation title is where you need to know a little bit more, but this is nothing that a quick Google search won't fix. As in France and Italy and elsewhere in Europe, Spanish wines are labeled by region, not grape. And it's laws that control what grapes are allowed to be grown. So if you read Rioja, you know it's a Tempranillo-based blend. If you read Ribera del Duero, it's 100% Tempranillo. Rías Baixas is Albarino, and it goes on from there. So if you don't know, check with Google. Another important word is cosecha, sometimes referred to as vendemmia, which is the vintage or the year that the wine was made.
The appellation status has 5 levels. The DOC and lowercase a is the highest level of Spanish wine classification. Only 2 regions currently hold DOCA status for their wines, Rioja and Priorat. DO indicates the geographical origins and the style of a wine. To use the title DO, wines must conform to various production conditions, both in the vineyard and the winery. There are about 70 DO titles.
VP or Vino de Pago is a single estate classification for high-end wineries unable to claim a DO title for their wines. This may be because the vineyard is outside the DO area or because the wine style does not follow the local DO production laws. But the wines are still high quality, and there are currently 14 Vino de Pago estates. VC, Vino de Calidad con Indicazione Geográfica, means literally wine of quality with a geographical indication. And then the last one is VT or Vino de la Tierra, and that literally means wine of the land and focuses on origins of the wine rather than its quality or style. So this is a really flexible category.
One of the most important things to understand about Spanish wines is the aging classification. The use of these words is strictly controlled by law and refers specifically to the length of the time that the wine was aged in the barrel and then in the bottle. So these laws will vary region to region and in between red and white wines. The youngest wines are joven, often with little or no oak. These are youthful wines not meant to age, but to enjoy now.
Crianza has some aging to it. In the regions of Rioja, Ribera del Duero, and Navarra, red Crianza wines must spend a minimum of a year in barrel with a total aging period of 24 months. So that's 1 year in barrel, 1 in bottle. Red wines from other areas with DO or DOCA status may only need to have spent 6 months in cask out of the total 24 to be called Crianza. And for white Crianza wines from any region, they must have undergone a minimum of 6 months maturation in barrel with a total aging period of 1 year before release.
Now, Reserva actually means something with Spanish wine. All red wines from DO or DOCA areas must spend a minimum of 12 months in the barrel with a total required maturation period of 36 months. White Reserva wines cannot be released until they're 2 years old and must have spent 6 months of that time in the cask. Furthermore, A Reserva Cava must have spent 18 months on its lees.
And then there's Gran Reserva, which has even longer aging requirements. In Rioja, Ribera del Duero, and Navarra, a Gran Reserva red wine must spend at least 2 years in barrel, followed by a further 3 years in bottle. So that's 5 years in total. And other DO and DOCA red wines only have to spend 18 months of the 5 years in barrel, but it is that longer overall aging time. White wines must be 4 years old with at least 6 months in cask, and a cava has to have spent at least 30 months on the lees to be rewarded with this grand title of Gran Reserva.
Once you know the grape or region, the aging classification is one of the most important keys to about knowing how the wine will taste. But a few other terms to know are about sweetness.
It's pretty simple. Seco is dry, semi-seco is semi-dry, semi-dulce is semi-sweet, dulce is sweet. So there you have it. Now Spanish wine labels will be a breeze to understand. So give our video a like, subscribe to our channel, and don't be afraid of Spanish wine labels. Cheers.
Cheers.